Hey everybody, Ken here from pinballrebel.com. Today we are going to be installing a new topper on our Godzilla pinball, which is behind me, that we picked up from our local distributor, which is Fun in Mesquite. So we thought we'd shoot a little video of how easily these go on so you can see. Maybe you can pick one up for your Godzilla if you bought one, and we'll take a look at it. Okay, first things first, we're going to unpack the topper. All the Stern toppers that we've bought so far have been packaged in basically this same box. So our favorite to date is the Black Knight topper. We consider that the magnum opus, if you will, of Stern toppers to this point. But let's unpack this one and take a look at it. Okay, what do we have here? We have very well packed. Stern's gotten much better over the years with packing their games and their accessories. Have a few instructions, and these look like line filters to me. I guess that's what they are. And there's the topper itself. So let's get the foam out from around it so we can take it out of the box. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that, and now it should lift right out, and indeed it will. So now we have it out of the box. We're going to have to take this plastic wrap off. Be kind of careful with that so you don't ding up your artwork and whatnot. Okay, now if we take the plastic the rest of the way off, we can see what we've built here, or what they've built. So, what do we got? We have a little bit of a 3D effect going on here with the buildings. We have an extra Godzilla, which is zip tied of all things, whatever. And then either this is fire breath or Godzilla's about to be attacked by a giant iceberg, one of the two. And then under here we can see behind these pieces we have LEDs. So now we just need to install this on the top of the game. So on the back box of the game, you can see these little Phillips head screws. We're going to need to take those out. And there is a plug right here that plugs up the hole where the cables will go through. We're going to take that out too. This will probably be easier to push through from the bottom than to push through from the top. So let's take these screws and take them out and put them over to the side because we'll need them again in a minute. And there's our last one. So the next thing we need to do is get inside the back box of the game. Take our handy little key. This comes down, and then the back glass will lift up and out. So inside of the back box, and my, haven't we come a long ways from the old days of electronics and pinball machines, you'll see this plug, and it's much easier to take it out from here than it is from the other side. So we're going to go ahead and take this out by pushing it straight up. You kind of pinch in a little bit, then you push up. So now we're going to lift this out, and we have a hole that goes, hello, it goes through. We can run our wires through here. So now we're going to put the topper on the back of the game and fish the wires down through the hole. So looking on the back of the topper here, you will see these are the cables. One's for the power and one's for the data. You'll also notice that Stern has zip tied these, so we're going to have to cut this little zip tie off because there's no way we're going to get all that through that little hole. Now be careful cutting this off because you don't want to nick any of your wiring. So we're going to be real careful about that. There we are. So now the wires are loose and they can go down through the hole in the back box. Now as you can see, we ran these two cables down through the back box. We're going to hook those up in a minute. First we want to secure the topper. One thing you will see is that Stern has these extra screws up here, and they drill little holes in their toppers so that it helps you line them up. Makes it easier to find the mounting spots. So we're going to line those up, and we're going to put some screws in it so it doesn't move around. One thing you'll probably want to do, instead of screwing these all the way in, just put them in a little bit with your fingers so they won't fall out, so that you can line the other ones up. Once you've got a couple of these lined up, the other two will go in just fine. Then you can tighten them down. Now that we've got the more than one screw started, we can tighten them down. Whoops. Let's try that again. Cinch them down a little bit. Don't over tighten them. You don't want to strip them. And we'll do the others, and that'll secure the topper to the back box, and then we need to hook up the cables next. So this is something new Stern's doing. They didn't have these last time I bought a topper, but these are little ferrite filters. They want one of these installed on each cable coming out of the back box down before you plug it in. So we're going to do that next. So little filters just snap on and click. So the first one we're going to hook up is going to be the power adapter, and it comes down here and plugs in right here at the bottom of the power distribution center. Okay, line up the holes and it'll snap in. There it is. So that's the power. Now we need to do the data cable. You notice we just have one data port left here on the CPU. So we need to put one of those little ferrite filters on this and then plug it into the CPU board. So now we have our filter installed. We're going to plug this in next. I don't know why Stern didn't put the tabs of the cables, of these Cat5 cables, facing out instead of in. It's just one of those small pet peeve things. If you got really fat fingers, you might not be able to get underneath it, but let's take it loose. And you'll hear it click. Okay, so we have the data installed, the ferrite filters, cable installed, ferrite filters. We use the little dressing hoops here to pull it back out of the way. And so with all that, we're ready to boot it up and see if it works. Here's the first fire up after the topper install. Let's see what we get. I do think we have some topper action going on up here. A little bit, looks like. That's kind of cool. I like that. Little destroyed buildings in the background, Godzilla breathing a little atomic breath, some army tanks about to get squashed, I'm sure. Other than a light show, this topper does come with an exclusive mode that changes the software on the game and gives you a mode that you can't get unless you buy the topper. I will be completely honest with you, I don't like that. I don't think anybody should be having to pay for what basically amounts to downloadable content when they've already spent big money for a pinball machine. However, I do have a Dell E version of Godzilla, and I didn't want it to be without the factory topper, so what can I say? There it is. But looks pretty good. We'll take a few pictures with the lights out and see how it lights up. So here we are. I'm not sure I like the fire effect, if that's what's supposed to be in the buildings, as much as I like the ones on Black Knight. Black Knight seems to be a little better. But there's Godzilla, king of the monsters. And that's the topper install. And now I really want to play a game. So may have to do that. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we will catch you next time. Keep on flipping, keep on playing. One thing I did need to mention is that if you haven't already done it, to make sure that your topper will do all the cool little things it's supposed to do, you need to update your software. So you'll just have to go into the settings, move over to Internet, and scroll down to Software Update. And it's going to look and see if there's a new one available. And for mine, there's not, because I'd already downloaded the software, anticipating getting a topper at some point. So once that's installed, your topper will work and you're good to go.